If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group being laid off. Your employment here is terminated, effective immediately.
Vishal Garg may just win the award for the worst CEO of 2021. That clip you just saw was of Garg, CEO of Better.com, firing 900 employees over Zoom before the holiday season. Better.com, if you didn't know, is a tech mortgage startup whose valuation has skyrocketed this past year due to rock-bottom mortgage rates in the US and a large demand for housing, especially as millions of Americans are rethinking where to live as businesses embrace remote work. The company uses technology to streamline the expensive home buying process and was slated to go public via IPO earlier this year before the whole debacle happened. Now, even before this incident, Garg has always been quite the character. He's been in the news before for altercations with his employees and is the all-time king of creative insults and threats. In one email to his staff, he writes, and this is one of my favorite quotes, "You are too damn slow. You are a bunch of dumb dolphins, and dumb dolphins get caught in nets and eaten by sharks. So stop it. Stop it right now. You are embarrassing me." Yeah, so Garg, unsurprisingly, has been involved in ongoing litigation. One of the cases was brought by his former business partner for allegedly stealing technology from their former company to start Better. During the case, he said to his former business partner and friend for over 10 years, who also spoke at his wedding, "I'm going to staple you to a wall and burn you alive." You know, totally normal stuff. What's more surprising than the stuff he says is the lack of governance around Garg's actions and the bad actors he employs at Better.com. Take Alana Noller, for instance, who used to be an executive at the company. Alana joined Better after 3 years in the commodities department of Goldman Sachs and then quickly rose up the ranks. According to interviews with people who worked with her, she was known to bully and retaliate against employees who didn't agree with her and promote employees based on their loyalty to her. And she put others on performance improvement plans when they voiced discontent with her leadership. And yet, in her 4 years at the company, she was paid millions. I'm talking about 2 million stock options easily worth tens of millions of dollars that immediately vested. This was highly unusual because stock options typically vest or gain value over the course of 4 years to incentivize employees to stay and grow the company. But for some reason, she was the only one to get what essentially amounts to cash handouts. Also, for some reason, she got a bunch of other perks, including $8,000 per month on 2 homes, including one in Puerto Rico, and payments for a car loan. Vishal, as CEO, allowed this and even asked the board to grant her more stock options than what she was already granted. Eventually, the complaints against her were too much and she was fired from the company by their investors. If you look at her LinkedIn now, she's living in Puerto Rico, probably sipping on a refreshing drink, enjoying the white sandy beaches the country has to offer, and of course sheltering all of her undeserved stock earnings from federal gains tax she would have had to pay if she lived in the US. One particular thing that really irks me is Alana Noller's title was Chief Product Officer at Better, which is a hilarious title because she's not an engineer, has never led the product development life cycle in her short career, and has the emotional intelligence of a pistachio nut and the sociopathic tendencies of Elizabeth Holmes. Coming back to the present, Garg recently laid off 900 employees over Zoom before the holiday season. Here's the clip.
You are part of the unlucky group being laid off. Your employment here is terminated, effective immediately. It's been a really, really challenging decision to make. This is the second time in my career I'm doing this, and I do not want to do this. The last time I did it, I cried. This time I hope to be stronger. But we are laying off about 15% of the company.
You gotta be kidding me.
The market has changed, as you know, and we have to move with it in order to survive. You're going to get an email from HR, ask HR at Better.com, and your benefits. For all U.S. employees, we're providing 4 weeks
Oh my God,
of severance,
I can't believe this.
1 month of full benefits, and 2 months of COBRA, for which we will pay the premium. Thank you for each and every one of yours individual contributions to Better. I wish the news was different. I wish we were thriving enthusiastically as we were at the beginning of this year.
He got a lot of backlash and hatred for these callous firings. He issued an apology letter in which he says, "I failed to show the appropriate amount of respect and appreciation for the individuals who were affected and for their contributions to Better. I own the decisions to do the layoffs, but in communicating it, I blundered the execution. In doing so, I embarrassed you." On the surface, it seems somewhat heartfelt, but this is Garg we're talking about, Mr. Staple to a fucking wall. A few days after this apology letter, a video was leaked in which he blows up at the rest of the staff moments after the massive layoffs.
"We are delivering to deadline for our customers and for each other. Parts of this organization that have not been deadline-centric before will be extremely deadline-centric going forward. You will not be allowed to fail twice. You will be encouraged to fail once, but not allowed to fail twice. Not meeting deadlines will not be acceptable." Is that going to change things a little bit? Yes. It's going to make things better, and that's what we're here for.
Not long after, key employees including the company's VP of Communications, Head of Public Relations, and Head of Marketing all submitted their resignations. On December 10th, Better.com's board of directors announced that Garg was taking time off effective immediately from the company. In the meantime, Kevin Ryan, the company's CFO, who's been a banker, by the way, for 20 years, not an operator, will be managing the day-to-day operations in the interim. While I'm glad he's taking some time off, I honestly think that this is just a way to keep him out of the public and to show that the company and the board of directors is having some sort of governance. He's probably going to come back after this coverage has died down and will go back to being his unhinged, sociopathic self. So what do I think could be a good course of action here? Now, I think they could hire an interim CEO who's a better people manager, or they could also hire a successful HR leader who specializes in people management. Anything to improve employee morale and improve the company's image. What I imagine is going to happen to Better.com in 2022 is they will have a hard time finding good talent as they try to continue to grow and eventually go public this year due to the CEO's actions. I don't have much else to say about Vishal Garg, but there's probably a lot more that will happen this year, and I'll share my perspectives with you guys as the story develops. But I wanted to ask you guys, what do you think should happen to Garg? Should he be allowed to come back if there's more oversight, and perhaps with mandatory executive coaching? Should they bring in an outside CEO to whip this place into shape? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching the first video on this channel. If you like this sort of content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.